Yeah, hello.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Real Enigmas and Theories is back again with another live stream. Yes, indeed. How y'all doing out there today? I love to see y'all here as always. Yes, and we did it, y'all. We did it. We got to 5,000 subscribers. Yesterday, I woke up, brushed my teeth, brushed my face, did my little stretching routine, and ran in place and grabbed my phone. I looked at my phone. I said, I've got 4,999 subscribers. And I swear I blinked and it said 5,000. Soon as I looked back at it, I was like, oh shit. And I went ahead and screenshotted it. And I was just like, yo, I 5,000 subscribers seemed so far away last year. It was ridiculous. And now that you guys have propelled me to 5,000 with the likes, the shares, the commenting, telling other people to subscribe, telling a friend to tell a friend, telling a friend that this guy's theories is crazy as hell and he gets nothing right, telling them everybody this guy's theories is crazy as hell and I love how he puts it together. Like all the love has definitely paid off and all of the hard work has paid off. But we're not done. We're not done, y'all. We're gonna keep going, keep moving, and keep pushing up until we get more and more and more. All the way out, all the way to the end of the show for sure. And then we will continue our journey with From, breaking down some of the stuff even after the show is done. And we're gonna, I'm sure, move on to other great shows like Severance and other shows that are out there, Silo, that hold our attention as well, and give us that esoteric meaning in the background. I love to cover shows and talk about things that have an esoteric meaning or a deeper meaning. Um, I did a I did a They Clone Tyrone video, and I did a couple more. But that's what I like to focus on, stuff that has a deeper meaning so that I can dig into it in an esoteric way. But yes, indeed, thank you. Thank you to everybody that helped me get to the 5,000 subscribers. Thank you for being here. And I'm fortunate to have such a great bunch of people following my scholarship, and I appreciate you. So let's get on into this real quick and give the shout outs. And then we're going to introduce all of the guests that we have today, some familiar faces, and a brother that has not showed up on the channel yet, but this guy has been checking us out. I've been checking his stuff out. I love the way he comes at the show from a very Alfred Hitchcock kind of perspective. We're going to talk to Parklin Media. But before we do that, we're going to get into these shout outs. Shout out to Wayne. Wayne from all the way on the other side of the pond. I'm glad that we're here at this time to meet your time difference with with the US. Yes. Same with Dieter. Dieter, good to see you as always. Faraway Tree is here. Yes. Yes. Early. Early. Okay, we have Linda. Linda's in the building. Good to see you. Delcinia, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Yes, indeed. Good to see you as always. I know you're busy, so do your thing, and it's good to see you here. Always such a warm face. Yes, indeed. We have Baby Clay in the building. What's good, Baby Clay? I caught you in the Discord. I saw you in the Discord. Shouted me out in the Discord. Shout out to Baby Clay. Is definitely here. We have the beautiful Carrie is in the building. Thank you, Carrie, for showing up and coming through. We made it. Yes, indeed, we did. We made it to 5,000 and we'll keep going. Tanai, how you doing? Yes, good to see Tania. Yes, Tania. That's what it is. That's right. Tania was good. Peace. Demo, what's up? What's up? We'll see you soon, Demo. My flight's booked and we'll be in Providence next month. And I'll see you there for sure. Bitey, good to see you in the building. Yes. Yes. A couple of you just came over from Parklin's live. And I stopped by and said hi to everybody there. Good to see you. Yes. Greek Gory. Greek girl. Oh yes. Greek girl, how you doing? Good to see you. Who else we got in the building? Tata Carey, how you doing? Good to see you. Nini's in the building. Yes, Dr. Deb. She said, hello, everyone. Great to see each of you on the panel and everyone joining us in the chat. Yes, I couldn't have said it better myself, Dr. Deb. Thank you. She says, a massive congrats, real. Thank you for that. You helped me do this. You definitely helped me do this. You, Nene, Bitey, Golden Child, all of you all helped me do this. Del Senior, a lot of you have been here since day one, so y'all got a chance to bear witness to my channel grow. And so that's the really dope part right there. So thank you for coming through. Your Golden Child is here. Who else we got in the building that I haven't seen? Carly, how you doing, Carly? OW, what's up, Frumley? How you doing? Chocolate Beauty, hey cousins, how you doing? Yeah, we got everybody in here right now. It's cooking right now. Oh, 56 people in here already. Yes, Lady Stoneheart, good to see you. Alyssa Ann, good to see you. Yes. Anna, how are you doing? Good to see you. Quiet on the set. Quiet on the set. Yes, that's how it goes. Dana's here. She's in the chat. She's on the panel. She's everywhere. Yeah. Who else is in here? Chocolate Beauty. Yes. Hit that like on the way in. Hit that like, y'all. You know what? Since we made it to 5,000 subs, my man Tony called me today. He said, yo, you made it to 5,000, bro. He said, and I know your philosophy on not asking for likes and subs and shares. He said, but do it anyway. Do it because it helps your videos grow. It helps the algorithm find you and send your video out to the people that want to watch your material and they probably are not aware of you yet. And he said you owe it to the people that do it for your fans that are there and they might forget. He was like, that's something that you should do. So I will start putting that reminder in my videos, guys. I do agree with Tony on that. The algorithm loves you when you have those likes. You get that 500 likes and they throw your video up through there. So I will be asking for likes and subscribes. And I'm not doing it. I feel like if you like my stuff, you like it, you'll subscribe. If you don't, you won't. You know what I mean? But I totally get what Tony's saying. And now we have reached a small milestone for 5,000, and we will go ahead and start doing that. Geekademy just came in the building. Hold on. We're
Sorry
still.
for being late. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
no,
guys.
no. There's nothing sorry about you, brother. Don't worry about that. It's all good. We all good. Yes, indeed. The man in black is in the building. It's good to see the man in black every time. We got the man in black, the boy in white. Yes, indeed. We have to create balance in here. So it's good to see the man in black in my chat. Yes, we got Gems. Gems is in the building. Germs. I'm sorry about that, Germs. Germs is in the building. Yes, yes. Okay, I think we're getting close. Percy's here. Percy is in the building. Debbie Ebby Bo Bebby is in the building. There's Scarlet. She's down in the chat as well. Okay. Percy is in the building. Good to see you, Percy, as always, man. As a matter of fact, I want to send the link to Percy and get Percy up here with us too. But I want to keep this in an orderly fashion where we all get a chance to talk and we all get a chance to say something and be heard. But yeah, I definitely want. I'm gonna send you that link though, Percy. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna get you up here. Yes. Who else we have? Congratulations, my brother. He says, thank you. Andrew is in the building. Okay. Andrew, good to see you. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Percy. Yes. Yo, Geekademy. Yep, Geekademy's in the building. Okay, that lets me know I'm getting close to the bottom here. Geekademy, there he is. See? Yep, okay. Did I miss anybody? If you come in, charge it to my head and not to my heart that I didn't mention your name. And I want to start off with some of the familiar faces we have in line in order here. We have myself. We have Scarlet Fever. Go check out her channel. If one of my mods can throw her link in the chat, that would be great. Dana as well. We have Dana Marie in the building. And if one of my mods can throw her link in the chat as well. We also have Geekademy right under my picture. And next to him, we have Parklin Media, Spade Parklin, as it says on the name page right there. Drop those links in the chat as well. Geekademy, Parklin Media, and also Taran Matharu, the great Taran Matharu. Please drop his link in the chat as well. Spread those links out a little bit so people have time to go check out all those links, and we'll keep posting those periodically through the stream so that you can all go and visit these people's great channels. They make great content, and Taran has a dope video up. It's a pretty long one, so you can start checking it out and make your way through it as you know, in multiple sittings if you need to, or you can just let it play while you're cleaning the crib or whatever you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Let it play and listen to his theory. He's dropped his theory. He has his video up there. Parklin Media has really dope content. As I said, I view his content as like a kind of like an Alfred Hitchcock perspective on the show. I really like that. I don't think you've heard that compliment before. Alfred Hitchcock is one of the greats. But yes, indeed, Geekademy, he definitely cuts through everything on the show, gives you a deep dive. He's been doing deep dives of each episode from season 1 all the way into now. I love this brother's content. Dana Marie, her content is actually D&D. However, she specializes in the from and lost connections. And Scarlet Fever is just another master chef. I think she made a great find just recently with the possible talisman inside of Victor's lunchbox. I had to shout that out in my latest video that I dropped this morning. If you didn't see it, go check it out after the stream for sure. But let's get to it. What do you guys really want to talk about today? I wanna ask Parklin Media, the newcomer to the streams.
What's going on, Real? Congratulations on the 5K. Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody on the panel. Hello, everybody in the chat. Really appreciate it. It should be a dope panel. I know you emailed about the preview or teaser for episode 2 of season 3. I'd like to go over that. I've kind of looked at it, bits and pieces, but really haven't taken a deep dive on it. So that'd be something cool to do.
Okay, so you're talking about like the new trailer that they dropped, or you're talking about for episode 2?
Episode 2 trailer.
Okay. Where is that trailer at? I can't find it.
I can drop it in the private chat.
Okay,
I just kind of glanced at it. It just seemed kind of like it was all over the place. Give me a moment.
Okay.
I'll go on mute while I look for it.
Do you have it downloaded at all?
So I just have a link, a YouTube link for it. No, I think it's a Reddit link for it. I could just drop it in the private chat if you want to screen share it.
Yeah, that'll work. That's perfect.
Yeah, I found it on Reddit. Okay, so it's coming right now.
Okay, and I'll pull that up. What I had up now was this thing here. Let's see. Let's go here. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Yep, we definitely want to show this.
Okay, I think I got everybody. I think I put everybody up in the chat. I don't know how else
You killing it, Dana. You killing it.
I don't know how she does this. She does that shit so quick.
You were in the barn with her, with those things. How are you still alive? I'm gonna find those things. I'm gonna burn every last one of them.
Victor is alive. The town I was telling you about, he's been stuck there all these years.
Where did you get the lunchbox?
This family is all we got, and now we got one left.
What was I supposed to do? We would have
Oh, you could have found another way.
The only way we go home is together. We can do this. This season, they've turned it up to 11. I think it's time we change things up a little bit around here.
The stakes have never been higher. It's getting more and more intense.
Go, Ethan, run, go!
Season 3 is really the end of the beginning, and things in general are changing.
I think this place has gotten in my head now. I'm scared of what that might mean.
At the end of last season, Boyd said to the creatures, "You don't break me."
No!
And they've taken that as a challenge.
You think this place can't break you? Let's see.
They're attacking Boyd psychologically, and he's really being pulled apart by all of this.
Things are getting worse around here, aren't they?
Yeah. There's one more disaster after the next. You can see the stress fractures.
People die here! I told you that it's not make-believe!
Things are getting really tenuous.
Why can't they leave us alone?
As the pillars of the town are starting to crumble, Kenny's realizing that he has to step up to the plate a little bit. He can't play defense forever, Boyd.
And if everything's changing, what's next?
It's getting pretty cold outside.
It's never snowed here before. We think we know what's going on, but we just keep getting new rules. The snow is just a completely new rule.
What the fans will appreciate this season is that we are getting real answers that matter.
I believe that the reason I was sent here was to find you. We're going to get a lot of answers, and we're going to get a lot of questions.
There's going to be so much more that no one was expecting.
Things are moving pretty fast, yeah.
No. How much more relentless can we get, and how much more can we test these people?
Go! And a few of our most beloved characters are not going to make it out of season 3.
You can't save them all.
I'm so sorry. Ah!
Season 3 is when things really explode.
But the fight isn't over until they're all dead. Or we are.
How are you still alive?
They wanted me to watch.
Where did you get the lunchbox?
Oh, now knowing who Boyd is screaming for, breaks my heart.
Yo, the Victor's pop screaming on Tabitha about the lunchbox is definitely gonna be one of the sound bites. When that comes, I'm definitely gonna use that as a sound bite. That is hilarious the way he said it. Here's one of my own made sound bites. Check this out, guys.
Megan, get the fuck away from that window.
And I mean, like, immediately she put the window back down, went over there, said her prayers, and took her little ass to sleep. And then we wouldn't have even, had a great we wouldn't even be hooked on this show if things would have went that way. But it is what it is. So,
hey, Real, did you ever tell anyone about the making of From season 1, where you can see that they had a different board game before they VFX'd it?
No.
Do you have that image?
I think you sent that to me. Hold on, let me look.
It's in the WhatsApp. Sorry to distract you guys, but I think you'll find this pretty interesting as theorists.
Oh yeah, that's something I wanted to talk about today too. Was Little Megan, and why is she still relevant to the show?
Well, do you know what Megan means? What the etymology of Megan is?
No.
It's pearl.
Pearl. Okay, yeah, I did know that. Actually.
And we also have Abby fingering the pearl necklace around her neck, and then we also have Ellis wearing it around his neck. I believe that there is a special pearl involved in this series that eventually will become important. I think it's actually the Peregrina pearl earring in the real world. I think that's one of the artifacts that people have to collect. Sorry, I know that's a bit tinfoil, but that's sort of the conclusion to that etymology for me.
No need to apologize about the amount of aluminum in your foil over here, because we definitely kicked that shit. But
pearls for sure are a thing based on that information.
Yeah, I got that picture queued up, ready to go. I got the original game. I believe wasn't it Candyland or some shit like that?
It was Candyland, yes.
Okay,
which is not a name I was familiar
that
with.
up there. And I'm gonna get to what Parklin wanted to talk about the trailer right after I thank Andrew West for his generosity of gifting 5 Real Enigmas and Theories memberships to 5 lucky people. And if you got one of those memberships, please thank him in the chat, and also celebrate with some of those dope emojis, and everybody else celebrate the new members that we have to the community. Now, how do you like to go? What do you like to go by? Spade
is fine.
Spade. Okay. So Spade, what about that trailer stuck out to you the most? And what is it? Has it given you any answers, or has it given you more questions?
So I had a theory that Tabitha was going to time travel and had something to do with the bottles on the bottle tree. In the trailer, unless I missed it when you played it, it appeared that Tabitha was climbing down from a tree and had put a bottle up there. It would make sense for Tabitha to be the one to put the bottles on the tree, as in she may have figured out how to maybe go into Fromville from different time periods, and she has to go in and leave out to be able to figure out how to get to the point in time when her family and everyone from the main cast is there. So I think I saw Tabitha climbing down from the bottle tree. So I'm willing to bet that maybe she's responsible for putting the bottles up there from the different years. Maybe it'll come out that she does something to be able to leave and come back in or whatever. Another thing I looked at or I saw is that people are losing faith in Boyd, because even Jade was asking Boyd, how are you still alive? And the way Jade was looking and sounding as if he believes something is up with Boyd. Because normally if you come in contact with creatures, you're going to be unalived. Boyd is probably the first person to interact with the creatures where they had him dead to rights, and he survived. And he watched Kenny's mom be tortured to death. And I believe that Kenny's mom's in the wheelbarrow that we saw in the preview of season 3 before it aired. So I believe people are going to lose. I
agree with you there.
Yeah. And I believe that people are going to lose faith in Boyd. I believe that Kenny, he's going to become the new leader. Donna's going to lose her stuff. And I think Donna's going to lose her crap, not because they're necessarily starving or because it's snowing outside, but she was one of probably a few people who liked Colony House and liked Fromville and viewed it as better than the real world. because Donna was saying that we had a real thing going on here, even though we were effing and drinking every night. We had a real thing going. We had a family in Colony House. She mentioned that season 1, and she probably is still upset that Jim and Jade had the idea of putting the radio on top of Colony House. She probably views that point in time, that the little slice of heaven that she thought with Colony House in Fromville is now gone. So Donna's going to lose her crap, especially when people start talking about going into the forest and not coming back. I think that's kind of what I think the showrunner has said about season 3 is the beginning of the end, and that they have to eventually migrate away from town, away from the Colony House, into the forest, and they have to go on some type of path where they don't return back to the safety of the starting point where they all started from when they came into the town.
Right. So I agree with what you're saying about Jade, questioning Boyd, because I had the same question. I believe it was last live before. It was the live before the show, actually. I asked, Boyd comes out of that barn unharmed or seemingly unharmed. He has the thing in his shoulder. How do people react to that? Now, Carrie brings up a great point. About 5 people already know that the monsters ignore Boyd, Smiley's death. Hashtag Smiley's death. And real quick, I got to do this plug real quick. While we're talking about hashtags, my man Tony Teflon has came up with a new word for the Frumily, and it's familiar. So if y'all can hashtag familiar out there to the people when you do your tags and stuff. Familiar. I think that's way better than Frumily. Frumily just seemed like too nice, right? Frumily, like we're in a nightmare town, right? Frumily just seems a little too nice. I like familiar. I love that. Hashtag familiar. But yes, I asked the question, how does that look with Boyd coming out of there? They knew the monster ended up dead. So they didn't really worry about it too much, right? They were just like counting the blessings. Like, yo, we got a dead monster. I'm not going to ask too many questions. Like, how he did it, I don't give a shit. It's dead, right? But this time we lost one of our own, and they made him stay there and watch. And Jade's question, how are you not dead, is definitely relevant. And some things have got to be explained. Either way, whatever it is a good thing to talk about right now. That's what we're going to use to talk about. So Geekademy, what do you think about how the townspeople will react after Boyd coming out of that barn and Miss Lou being ripped to shreds?
Well, I agree that probably the town is going to be divided into 2 separate groups. Some people would probably go after like Kenny's idea that we need to burn them all. We need to bring the fight to them. Some people will take the more cautious approach. And by the way, congratulations on 5K. I didn't say it to you, so I'm going to use this opportunity. Congrats. Sounds like an amazing accomplishment.
Thank you.
Now, there's a lot of interesting things to talk about, guys. There's this teaser, but we didn't discuss all of the images that Amazon released. And we have there all of the drawings that that Tabitha is going to find in the cellar of this of Victor's father. And there's a lot of information there, like a lot. I did a video on it, and it's basically, usually those kind of videos take me about 5 to 10 minutes. This video took me like half an hour. So you can like zoom in here on a lot of images, and there's a lot here, especially the talismans. I think this is the most interesting part here, that we can see talismans in the drawings.
Yes. Tony and I was just talking about that too, like the talisman drawings in there. But the problem is, okay, so we've seen 4 of the talismans. And I think you're talking about this right here, correct?
Yes, but there's also another one. It looks like some kind of a witch. Taran, your theory. And this one is also holding really a talisman. It looks like a stone with a talisman symbol.
Okay. So that was Geekademy's take on it, on how, people will react to Boyd. there's a lot of stuff that we are going to figure out. I agree with that. And let's go to Scarlet real quick. Scarlet, what do you think the people are going to, how is that going to impact the people with Boyd walking up out of there alive?
I think Scarlet ran to go just meet her daughter downstairs.
Okay. Then we'll move right over to you then. Okay, yeah, she said she'll be back in a minute. I see. Yeah, so Dana, what do you think about how people are going to react to Boyd walking up out of that barn?
Well, they're either going to be extremely happy or extremely pissed off, because they're going to know something's up with him not coming out, in a body bag. Like, poor Miss Chen. Rest in peace, Miss Chen. Let's just all say it. That was very sad. It was very, very sad. But I think they're gonna start looking at him differently, definitely.
Yeah, because Reggie definitely felt like Boyd was the cause of the cicadas, and that's why he shot him. He said everything was fine till you went out into the woods and he went to shoot him. The last time the monsters made somebody watch, what they did with them is they took and posted them to a tree. I mean, she was still going to die, but she was left alive. Why didn't they do Boyd like that? Why didn't they post him to the post, just so that he could say, hey, they made me watch. Tell Kenny his mom said keep going or whatever. Like, I don't know what she was saying to him. I heard somebody saying that she was saying get him home. But yeah, I think that might be the beginnings of a wedge being drawn between the townspeople and Boyd. But Taran, what do you think? What do you think about what people are going to think about Boyd coming up out of that barn?
Yeah, there'll probably be a bit of suspicion. He's probably going to make some bad decisions this season, and also some selfish decisions apparently this season. According to interviews that Harold has done. So I wonder what those might be. I imagine selfish decisions for Boyd would be choosing a family member over a stranger, or trying to protect someone that he cares about at the expense of someone else's safety. That's sort of where I see it going. I'd also like to note the green teeth of the monster vomiting what looks like yellow bile out of its mouth there. I thought that was quite interesting. There you go. That's not an accident. And I think it's even a different color in the poster. So, what happens when you search green teeth? You find this sort of mythical creature called Jenny Greenteeth from English mythology.
No, it had green teeth in the trailer. I mean, in the poster.
Sorry?
It had green teeth in the poster as well.
Did it? Well, either way, I think it's a clue. I think in the poster you can't quite tell what color it would be, but certainly in this one you can. So Jenny Greenteeth.
Yeah, I agree. It's all kind of green.
Yeah. So with Jenny Greenteeth, I think what's interesting about her is that she's a hag. She's known as a hag. And I think that's probably a clue to the hag being on the show. I think the hag is currently possessing Tilly. And I think that's what's actually going on with the Kimono Wraith. I think that there's a being about to possess Elgin. Currently, that being is in the form of someone they possessed in the past. That person is OK Ito, who was in Fromland in 1869. The reason that water is dripping from OK Ito, the reason why water is dripping from this being, as far as I understand, is partly to do with water cure torture. There seems to be a series of tortures in the origin story that are being hinted at, and one of them seems to be water cure, which is when you're basically forced to drink water until your stomach expands, and it's like a horrible torture. And I also think it's a clue to that being related to water, which makes me think it's the giant jellyfish being / giant squid being, the tentacle being, basically.
Okay.
All right, that's enough. Sorry.
Okay. So once again, y'all, we're here celebrating the 5,000 subscribers. We're talking about it. We got a full panel here, a dope panel. I want to ask you guys a question, something that I just recently discovered and that I haven't heard anybody talking about. What is up with the little girl with the tap shoes on?
The little girl with the tap shoes on?
Yeah.
Where's that? I don't remember seeing that.
Y'all haven't seen, nobody caught the little girl with the tap shoes on? Oh, let me find out that I'm the first person that figured that out. Yeah, there's a little girl with tap dancing shoes on. Let me see if I could pull it up. And she's in Victor's flashback. Let me present this. Yeah, she's in Victor's flashback. The little girl with the tap shoes on. Can y'all see that? Right there at the bottom.
Tap shoes. Oh yeah, sorry. I think I know what that's a clue.
Tap dancing shoes on. That's clear. That's
Okay,
clear.
so
Little
that's a
girl with
clue
tap
to-
dancing shoes.
I know what that is. That's a clue to Adele Astaire. That's one of the historical figures in the 1930s timeline of Fromland. She's a tap dancer, famously. So it's
Okay.
Fred Astaire's sister.
Okay. So I'm gonna do a little research on that. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? Baby K said tap dancing while we in hell is crazy work. Hey yo, you got tap dancers and goddamn ventriloquist dummies and shit. Like, yo, I'm thinking this is an episode, we gonna get like a vaudeville episode in this motherfucker or something. Well, yeah, like the tap shoes is crazy. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna do some research on that and catch that. I definitely didn't hear nobody talking about the fact that she has tap shoes on. Am I bugging or are those tap shoes? Like,
They're definitely tap shoes. I agree with you totally. I think this is a clue to Adele Astaire. It's already part of my theory, man.
that's crazy. So I just now confirmed a little piece of your theory. Or, as I told you, Taran, these things are going to be esoteric, and that's where they're going to be at. Because nobody saw this. Look at the blood all in the grass and everything. They did crazy with this scene. This scene was bananas. This whole scene was bananas. Let this take us right into the little Ferris wheel. And it's fresh and clean. Look at the colors on there. Very vibrant, very fresh and clean colors. It looks like somebody had damn near freshly painted this thing. Because look at the monkey bars things. That doesn't look, yeah, I just lost my whole thing right there. Where'd you go? Okay. No, that's not it either. There you are. But, yeah. I mean, everything looks kind of dirty. Well, no, this swing set over here looks nice and red, but it doesn't look as vibrant as this here. And that made me think about this.
So I got a quick question for you guys.
Sure.
There's obviously a massacre scene with Victor where he walks through the town and they've sent bodies everywhere. And you can see the Star Magic Motel sign and everything's new and clean. Do you guys think that they repainted the entirety of the town, put up this new motel, changed how it looked, all for one scene? Or do you think they filmed a whole bunch of stuff there that we're going to see playing out this season?
I'm not sure. Well, you know, they do stuff like that. If you need the set to be a certain way, they'll do it. You know what I mean? They'll do it. And not to mention, From has obviously gotten a bigger budget this season. So like that could be a part of that, I guess. But I get what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. You're saying that they're changing the town for a reason. And I follow you on that. What do you think about that, Spade?
That would kind of have me think about a theory of, let's say, that a government organization or just a group created From as like a pocket universe. Well, anytime you have a large massacre, and they reset, they probably go in and like repaint stuff, repair stuff, and make it staged for new people to come in for like an experiment. Because just the idea of electrical wires that have electricity that runs through the currents and everything, so that the houses have lights and everything, but the cords and different things don't go anywhere. Someone's got to have an interest in keeping the place modernized for people to live there. And I think that's what my guess would be, is that there's some government organization that created the pocket universe of From. And when everyone becomes massacred, they come in, retouch stuff, paint stuff, fix stuff, and make it so where people, want to go there. Because I hardly ever see anyone cleaning in any of the episodes. They're doing chores and different things outside. And you see people kind of standing around talking, but you never really see anyone talk about a cleaning schedule, or you never see anyone cleaning, and they probably don't even have any cleaning products, yet the place doesn't look like a haunted house.
So you're saying that it should be more dilapidated than it is?
It should be.
Okay.
Because look at the grass outside.
Yeah, the grass, it does look like somebody's cutting the grass and shit.
Yeah, got to be, because if no one's cutting the grass will be like waist high somewhere. Whereas the grass doesn't really be.
Hell yeah. I've seen grass in yards that has only been growing for maybe 3 months, and the grass is like to your nipples. So it's like, what's going on with the grass in Frumlin? Is that what they smoking up there? What's going on?
And then there'd be more bugs.
Well, but are you suggesting that the scene that we see with the low grass means that either someone mowed it, or that the place arrived there with already mowed lawns like not so long ago?
That's a good point.
It could be both. That might be a mystery that never really gets answered in the show, and it may just be.
It might just be
okay.
An oversight.
So let me ask a question to y'all. That's a good question. I'm gonna go around with this question. We know that buildings, people, cars, animals are being brought into this place. Is the actual landmass itself being brought into this place?
Yeah. No, I think it's like a copy of it, personally. I don't think it like teleports a segment of the landmass. Well, it could do. I guess it could do, actually, because there's lots of drawings of like a giant hole in the ground, isn't there? With like it's like black, and there's like two figures standing in front of it. It seems to be how this curse was created in some way. So potentially, actually, there are floating pieces of land above like the ocean in some of Victor's drawings. So yeah, it's very hard to say. I don't know. But can I just throw out a theory? I would just love to hear Dana and Scarlet's opinion, and Spade and Eagles as well, actually. If we saw a polar bear on the show running around, what? No, I'm serious, because I genuinely think this is coming.
No, I'm laughing because it's great.
If there was a polar bear on the show, how would that change your perspective of the show with the lost connections and stuff like that? If a polar bear started running around, what would you guys? I genuinely would want to know how you guys would react.
Go ahead, Taran. Lead that out and come to me last. I'm gonna take a step real quick. Go to everybody else, but you go ahead.
All right. Okay. Let's start with Dana, since you're already unmuted.
So if I saw a polar bear on this show right now, I think it would just more confirm the connections that I've already made, because I've already seen tons of parallels between the two shows, and it would only confirm to me that they do share a universe. Because what are the odds that you'd see a polar bear in From, just like what are the odds that you would see a polar bear in Lost?
And Eloise,
you know that we saw the polar bear because they were doing experiments and stuff to see how the polar bear would react to certain things in Lost and on the island. So it would be interesting. That would just be a further connection for myself.
What if it's a Dharma Initiative spin-off? You know, the Dharma Initiative, they got some other shenanigans they were doing elsewhere. Nobody knew.
Well, yeah. Well, remember, Eloise did say that in Lost, they were only interested in the island at that moment. So, but could they know that From also exists? Absolutely. Could they have their little fingers in From? Absolutely. They're a multi-billion-dollar company that would be able to, you know, have the funds and resources to locate, find, experiment on, and do stuff within From, just like they did Lost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
you know, I mean, it could be that maybe Fromland is what's underneath the island. You know, maybe that's what's the darkness underneath the island. Maybe that's Fromland. Maybe everything that was happening in Lost has its own like mirror version of Fromland in the other, you know, in the other world, and that's what we're seeing. But who knows? But
exactly.
Okay. It could be. It could be. Personally, I think that if a polar bear shows up, it's going to confirm an Inuit connection, a Northeast Canadian connection for me, and that's about it, really. Actually, those are pretty much what it would do for me.
Bro, you should have just went to the next person, because that's what I was about to say. You took my answer. He took my answer, y'all. Y'all heard that. I mean, if you don't believe me, go look at my last video. I'm talking about the Inuit snowshoe, everything.
Well,
I was gonna
think
say
about it,
that
guys.
that would be
Like,
that would be a connection to the Inuit. That's what I was gonna say.
We've seen that From goes through cycles. That's one of the first theories that ever came out there, that this is another cycle within From. When you have the Man in Black on Lost talking about the cycles within the island. Man come, they fight, they destroy, they want to claim the island and the light source, and it happens, it goes over and over and over again. So you can say that if there's cycles also here, there's just more and more connections showing that they're almost a yin yang. The island is the light, From is the dark, and they kind of meld together and balance each other out.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting.
How about this, right?
Hang on. We should let Spade and Igor.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Go ahead. Go ahead, Spade and Igor.
Spade first, please.
Okay, so a polar bear is a predator, and the animals that we've seen on From so far have been somewhat like cattle animals, like cows, sheep, things that we get things from or slaughter to eat. So a polar bear would let me know that the portal that, or let's say the wormhole that has people come into Fromville may be more random than we think. Because if you introduce a polar bear that in an environment like From would become like top of the food chain, right below the creatures. Now, whoever, if the portal is being controlled, then they basically are somewhat ruining their own experiment, like Randall was alluding to as far as experimentation. So I would think that the portal is now random, and that if the portal's random, then that means no one's really necessarily controlling the environment like we think. It may be more just some type of like magic or some type of just energy, and not like an actual organization wanting to control Fromville. That'd be my first thought. My second thought is, okay, is a polar bear coming here because it's cold outside and it's getting snow now all of a sudden, meaning that the portals may somewhat coincide with temperature outside in the real world. So if it's sunny in Fromville and hot, it's going to be animals and things associated with hot climate, hot areas. If it's a polar bear, then it must be from an area where polar bears would exist, which means that the snow on the ground and it being cold is just because maybe there's a shift in the portals and where they're allowing people to come in. And if there's a way to come in, there's got to be a way to exit. That's kind of how I would think as far as my way of thinking.
Very cool. Thank you for your thoughts there.
That is interesting.
Igor, I would love to hear from you now.
Yeah, thank you so much. No, first of all, I would love. First of all, I would have to rewatch Lost, obviously, if this is something I would have seen. Now, I have like a double, a very like ambiguous feeling towards any connection to Lost. Like if it's an homage, if it's like some kind of a clue or a wink to anybody who watched Lost, yeah, I would enjoy it. But if it's like becoming a part that we need to watch Lost in order to understand completely from, then I would resent it actually, because in my opinion, every book, every show, every movie, whatever it is, it has to be self-sufficient. Like if I'm reviewing a movie that is based on the book and I don't understand the movie, and then somebody tells me you should have read the book for you to understand what's happening there, my reaction would be like, no, I paid for the movie, I want to understand what the hell is going on here, without buying another book for that. Like this is a separate creation. Now if it is like a part of a universe, exactly like Marvel universe, once again, every movie there most of the times is very self-sufficient. You can watch Captain America without watching Iron Man, and still you would understand 99% of the movie. Now, if regardless of any Lost connection to the TV show Lost, I would probably first of all start thinking once again to some kind of scientific explanation, even though once again I don't see how. What is the point? Like anything that Randall and Jim brought up about testing people under pressure, under stress, how they deal with fear, even though probably not true, but it does seem a little bit logical. This place can actually test it. Like what this place can test for polar bear, like nothing. Probably absolutely nothing. Like how would polar bear behave in the forest of Fromville? Probably exactly in the same way how he would behave in the forest that is somewhere else. And it would also send me to the Inuit connection, and obviously I would go straight away to ChatGPT and ask him about tell me about lore that is connected to United States and what is any connection to polar bears, anything from mythology, any stories, and I would probably enjoy a lot reading about it. So yeah, that would be probably an interesting moment. Thanks.
Very, very interesting. Scarlet, I would love to hear from you now that you're back. And I would also like to just throw something out there for you guys. Interestingly, what is the first thing Henry says to Tabitha when he sees her?
The first thing he sees was like, get away or leave.
He's
I don't
saying,
remember.
leave me alone.
Yeah, leave me alone. Okay.
It gives a vibe that he's been like targeted by somebody. Somebody's coming to his house for many times, and he's got tired of those people. He doesn't want to see them anymore.
Or he's been accused of killing his family.
Maybe.
I think it's that. Maybe reporters. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to say the first thing he says to her after like a sigh or a couple of words is "get lost," which I thought was interesting considering we're discussing Lost connections on the show. Personally, I think it's a clue. I love
your brain, Taran.
I think it's like watch Lost so that you can understand the connection here, which is Eloise on Lost is the time travel lady, which means Eloise, when she returns to the real world, she time traveled, which means Eloise may not be the same age as we suspect she would be, which would be 52, which would mean she could potentially be Tabitha. That's my chain of thought there, by the way. Sorry. So, and I know that may sound crazy to you guys, but there's actually about maybe 12 things on the show that make me think that Eloise is Tabitha. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But what would you say then, her talking to her mom? And
yeah, I don't think Eloise is Tabitha's mom anymore. I think Eloise is Tabitha, and I think her mom adopted her when she was a child.
Like there's one thing that bothers me with this theory is the actress who's playing Tabitha. They like specifically brought, I think she's like half some Spanish roots or something. Her name is Catalina. It's very like a Latin.
She's a white Latin American person.
Yeah, so when you look like at Victor's family, it's like very like the Irish. Kavanaugh is an Irish last name, so kind of doesn't work there.
I don't know. She's a white person. I think that she could get away with being related to Victor in some way, potentially. Her background. Like, for example, my mother is white, completely white, but she's from Brazil. And she's a Brazilian person. She speaks with a very thick Brazilian accent. And she's a Latina, but racially she's entirely European. So I don't know. Look, I'll leave it there. I get what you're saying. They definitely wanted to cast a Colombian person, which is I think is a clue for something else. But we'll see. We'll see if it's true. I think that there's a scene. All right, I'll leave it there. Sorry, I'm talking too much. But I will. Okay.
Check
Anyway,
this out,
peace,
right?
Scarlet,
I
go
want to
ahead.
comment on something in the chat real quick. Victor said Henry thought she was a hooker. He said, "I'm not in the mood." He had a 6-pack and looked like he was mentally checked out. Yo, that's the first thing I thought when I saw that scene. He pulls up in a hoopty, the super hoopty. It looks like he hadn't gotten a car since Victor and them disappeared. And I've said this already, but I'm not joking. Like, that's what it looked like. He gets out with a 6-pack and tells the shorty that's standing there with holes in her pants, holes in her jacket, she looks dirty, dusty, and he's like, "I'm not in the mood." Like, what? That's the first thing I thought about. But aside from that, here's a question that I want to ask everybody on the panel. Is Tabitha really seeing the boy in white on the outside, or is that just her head messing with her?
I wondered the same thing because the way they do the camera angles, it makes it appear as if she's like crazy.
I'll start with you. Go ahead.
Them camera angles is weird. It's as if she's like coming out from the coma or whatever, and she's still not visually proper. But then again, the boy in white plays tricks. I can't figure out why he led her to that shop. If I could figure out why he led her to that shop, then I would think it's the boy in white. Otherwise, I start to lean to maybe her head's playing games with her.
Okay, so her head's playing games with her. Dana, what are your thoughts?
That's a good question because we know she suffered a head injury of some kind when she fell out of that lighthouse. So it's very plausible to think it's a hallucination. I don't. I really think that the boy in white is able to tap into the outside just because we still can go back to Father Kotri when he was standing on the bridge and he said he heard the word of God or the voice of God for the first time. So we know something is able to tap to outside of from.
Mm-hmm.
And if the boy in white is connected to the lighthouse, it's just, and I hate to do it, but it's another lost connection because that's how Jacob was able to get to the outside. He used his lighthouse to be able to travel and do stuff and get to the outside. So the boy in white could possibly have the same kind of gift and power to his lighthouse within from.
Okay. Geekademy.
Yeah, I also think it's a boy in white. Like eventually, when I first saw the episode, I was a bit also like not decided because it didn't feel like this appearance had any point. He brought her to a coffee shop that doesn't have any information and didn't brought her anywhere. But then again, it's like, first of all, he didn't appear for a couple of seconds and then disappeared. Second of all, he did the waving like gesture just the same way he's gonna do for Victor, as we have seen in the trailer. So it's kind of like a signature move, and you don't hallucinate something you have never seen. And the other thing is, if it was like a head injury, it would probably be a motive that would repeat itself a couple of times during the episode. Like we would see her like once again, probably maybe when she left the church or something like this. Otherwise, it's just once to show that she has a hallucination and never get back to it. It doesn't really, sorry about my dog, doesn't really solve anything for the story. So yeah, I think it's the boy in white, and exactly like I think what Dana said, that we had already an instance of something from reaching to outside with Father Kotri when he heard the voices, and maybe it was the boy in white because he needed somebody's like Father Kotri figure to be in the town. Like, you remember who was the one to save Boyd when he arrived there? Like, probably nobody else would risk their lives to save somebody else, like in a couple of minutes before the dawn. So yeah, my mind is it's gonna be it is the boy in white, and the only thing that kind of bothers me that in season 1 we had Sarah telling that he's trapped in this place and he also wants to escape and he wants to help and he doesn't know how. So it's probably, maybe it is this, working like it worked in Lost. Like you said already, like he can create some kind of an avatar for the outside. He's basically, his essence is trapped in the Fromville area, but he can use his powers to actually present himself to some people, to reach some people that can listen, or maybe that were already in Fromville before and have this connection to this place, and maybe he can reach them. And I'm not going to share it with you, but like only maybe privately if you want, but I found some spoilers, maybe you also did, and most of them already came true. And yeah, so this theory is probably going to come true, even though it is not exactly related to what I just said, but it kind of supports what I just said.
Okay, Spade.
So I don't believe that she was suffering from a concussion, because they would have had, the director would have had Tabitha kind of like walking, being dizzy, and they would have when she viewed the boy in white, it would have kind of had a blurry to kind of communicate to us, the audience, that she's suffering from a mental situation from when she was found and she's in the hospital. So I think what it is, the boy in white wanted her to go in the shop and find something, but she just got discouraged when he morphed and she left out before she could find whatever he wanted to show her. Because if you go back and rewatch it, when she goes into the shop, she looks and sees the actual boy in white, the actual actor. But then the camera pans to her, and then when it switches back to what she's looking at, when she goes up to the actual individual, the person changes into someone else. And I guess the mom was right there with whoever the boy was, who the new actor that they put in that place. I think that the boy in white has the ability to shapeshift, kind of like whatever Father Katri really is in season 3, or whatever Abby was in season 2. Like those maybe 10th dimensional beings, they have the ability to change their appearance so they can appear like something that you are familiar with, so they can talk to you. And I think the boy in white did the same thing, in that he appeared to be one way. You go in the shop, he turns into something else that the mom was familiar with. Tabitha was supposed to find whatever she was supposed to find. She didn't do it, and she walked out, and an opportunity was missed.
Okay, and Taran.
I'm sorry, I had to step out for a bit. What was the question?
The question is Tabitha actually seeing the boy in white, or is that just her head messing with her?
Oh man, I don't think the show will put stuff that's not there. There's already enough visions and stuff without us having to guess whether the vision actually was a thing or not.
Well, I mean, for instance, you had Boyd in the well. He saw Ellis in the well. Like,
I think that means something too. I think every vision must be some being of some kind showing themselves to that person. That is ultimately what practically every single vision is. I'm actually now of the opinion that basically if you're wearing white clothing on the show, like as one of the like visions, it means you're a dead ghost, like a fully white, like the children in white and the boy in white. And actually there's pictures of like an older lady in white in the background of some of Victor's drawings. You can see this old lady that's definitely in there. And then we see a man in white as well, and he looks pretty clean in his clothing while the lady looks dirty. So here's my opinion. I think the people in white who have totally clean clothing, they're on the bad team. You know, they get a good life, they get a good living, they don't have to live out in the woods because they're on the bad team. While the people on the good team who are like trying to save everyone, they're the ones who are going to be all dirty and looking gross. We'll see what happens with that. And I found it really interesting that Abby in the last scene was wearing a white hoodie. I wonder if that was to suggest that it really was her. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, you mean in the last scene in the finale?
Yeah.
So you think that Abby would tell Boyd to just let them die?
All right, so let me explain. I actually think the situation here is when you die in Fromland, your soul gets sent to a tree. And that's why the trees are spreading as more and more people die. I think the faraway trees are people who have died in Fromland a while back and are still there, and they've gained these sort of powers. And there's a giant tree that's in one of Victor's drawings on the Peach map, and that tree suggests that there's someone who's been there from the very beginning. who's trapped in a tree. Now, okay, so let's set all that aside for a moment. Now, what would you do if there's a game where the main aim of the character of the players is to make you fearful and feel pain and fear? Wouldn't you want to end that game quickly so that you get to go home? Because here's the other thing that happens. When the game ends, just like Sarah said, everyone gets to go home, even the dead. So all the souls get to return back to the real world. So it's in your interest to end the game as quickly as possible, which means losing as quickly as possible so that the pain and the fear can end quickly, because you can never win this game. No one's won this game before. So I think that's what Abby's saying. She's saying, let them die, because basically this game needs to end as quickly as possible. If you drag it out, you still can't win. That's why she says, do you really think you can win this time, Boyd? That's the point. You can't win the game, so why drag it out? So she's basically saying, I don't think what she should have said was, everyone gets to go home when the game's over, but she doesn't say that. But I think that's the logic there. Okay, thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I wanted to give a shout out to the man in black for the $5 super chat. I didn't get a chance to say it before. I was saying something else, but he said another dope all-star panel, and we appreciate your generosity as always. I had jotted that down real quick after I didn't get to it, but we got to the questions, and I apologize for that. But yeah, I have another question for you guys as well. But before I get to that, I want to do something a little interesting real quick, a 60-second little hit from each one of you. So it'll be 5 minutes. This will just take 5 minutes real quick. Okay, so, and I want to start with Spade. Spade, give me the 60-second overall view of your theory of Fromland.
Okay, 60 seconds. So I think that Fromland is a pocket universe, and it was created so that different strings of time can be connected together to enable time travel, time traveling backwards, time traveling forward, so that you can actually go to the past and not just going backwards in time to where you go to your future that is a past but not the actual past. I think it's just designed to connect the multiverse, everything that can be is going on, anything that could be, in order for some force or people or thing to control everything and be able to possibly bring people back from the dead, possibly manipulate the future, and have a place to get an infinite number of resources for the real world.
Okay.
Do I have more time?
Yeah,
I don't know if
that
that's 60
was your
seconds.
time. You was right on there. You was right on the money. Good on the money. Okay. Let's go to Taran. Let me get your 60-second overall theory and kind of include the same things. What it is, where it's from, who did it, blah-de-da-de. Go ahead.
All right. It might go slightly over a minute, but I'm going to do my best.
Oh,
Fromland
okay.
is... All right, let me go. Fromland is an ancestral curse that once held Ben Franklin, Frank Sinatra, the Bearded Lady, Henry Morgan, and Crazy Horse. Located beneath Cape Race Lighthouse, contained in a broken bottle of urine and holy nails, wrapped in a witch's ladder of artifacts where medieval board and tarot games are played in a mirrored Canadian and US Fromlands between 4 players from a set of 7 evolving beings from a dozen mythologies and religions, including Christian, Greek, Hebrew, Egyptian, Arthurian, Welsh, Irish, Dante's Hell, and Heaven and Purgatory, Templar, Cathar, Norse, Indigenous Canadian, Modern Canadian, that began their lives as 3 fallen angels, Shamsiel, Sariel, and Azazel, Canaan, Sarai, Lilith's demonic children, and in which Donna acts as a giant spider's human avatar and Bigfoot's ally, aided by future Jim and the tree ghost of centuries-old Bridget of York, a former pregnant nun, English princess, and cunning folk woman who took part in a pagan international celebrations and endured a witch's trial that included a penalty of the peach by a mad homophobic priest who faked his death. And I'll stop there because I'm only halfway. But it's that's part of my thinking of what's going on in the show. And I know
He needs another minute. Give him another minute.
Are you sure?
Let him go.
No, I'm joking, but that was a lot. I have to go to your channel to get like the rest of that. That was a lot.
Yo, somebody post Taran's video in the chat. Please post that video. Y'all got to check the video out, yo. It's a long one, but it's definitely interesting for sure. Geekademy, let's get your 60-second explanation of what's going on with Crumb.
You can't expect me to follow that after Taran. Come on.
I know, right?
I'm sorry. It sounds so crazy. I apologize. But what can I do? Like, this is what the show is telling me it is. I mean, I literally can't change it. That's what I think it is.
Okay, yeah, I feel you on that. I feel like it's gonna change as time goes by. You're gonna be like, okay, I think Real is right. I think these connections are totally esoteric, and I am explaining the deeper meaning of this show.
We still disagree on that, Real, but we'll see.
I know, we'll see. Okay, Geekademy, let me get the 60-second.
Okay, first of all, I kind of enjoy the whole pocket universe idea. Also, Spade. Like, I don't think it's exactly pocket universe from quantum physics, like we discover, like we study it in our world, but it kind of works like a pocket universe. Like, the other thing I've told like many times, and I try to put myself in those lines. I'm trying to get this like a detective approach, and detective cannot like first of all decide who's guilty and then build your theory towards it. I'm just building all of the clues and whatever it's gonna get me. I'm not even like thinking too much. I'm not spending too much time or effort to fill in the blanks with my own imagination. I'm just building their information, and when I have some conclusions, it comes up. And so far, as much as I can see, we don't have enough information to have any based conclusion of what the hell is this place is. So I'm just gonna keep watching, and hopefully the creators is gonna surprise me.
Igor, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If it turned out that there was sufficient information in the first and second season of From to predict pretty much everything that was going to happen over the next 4 seasons, without, it not in like crazy detail, but pretty amazing detail, and it was all in a whole set of clues that were hidden in the dialogue that no one's noticed. What would you think of that?
Well, it depends, obviously, but if it's done correctly, it's probably would be one of the best things I have ever seen. Like, one of my favorite movies from being a teenager was Fight Club, and I kind of got to the conclusion of what happens in Fight Club about 20 minutes before it's revealed. But then when you rewatch the movie, you can find clues and information about the big reveal in the first minutes of the movie, and this is why it's so great to rewatch it many times. So if this is the case, it would give me just another opportunity to watch From, yeah, that sounds great. Like, as I told you, I'm not trying to be the first to understand what's going on there. I'm just enjoying the process. I really like, if this is gonna be your theory or Real's theory or anybody else's theory that has come true and it's not like mine idea, I wouldn't be like at all bothered by it. I would be like, first of all, hats off to you, and that was great fun with great community to watch this TV show and build theories together. That's all. Like, yeah, I would probably enjoy it, but once again, if it turns out to be a dog's dream or I don't know, a Matrix or some kind of thing, I would probably not enjoy it. Like, yeah, so this would be. I think I told this. I tried to do my own live stream like a couple of days ago. My first live stream.
I loved it, by the way.
Yeah, it was good.
So good, man.
Thank you so
I didn't
much.
see that. I didn't catch it.
Oh, Real, it was so good. Igor, you got to do another one, man. They were so.
You got to do another one.
I will. I'll try. But as I say during the stream, I like, if there's gonna be like, if we're gonna see at some point a witch and a demon playing chess, I'm gonna jump from my chair. I'm gonna be like screaming at my house. Oh my God, Taran was right. Okay.
Well, actually, I don't think it's a witch and a demon anymore.
Oh, it's okay. You're probably gonna change, add something. But what I'm saying is that if it's gonna be like, okay, it was a simulation that was built by Jade or his uncle or whatever, and you explain the monsters by code lines, you explain the talismans by code lines, you explain the people can escape this place by code lines. this is gonna be upsetting for me because it's gonna feel lazy. So yeah, so they
Okay,
need
so
to do it correctly.
Dana, what's your 60-second overall theory of what is going on in From?
Okay, timer starts. Are we ready? See if I
Ready.
could do this. Okay, so my overall theory on what From is that it's another location within the universe of Lost, and that it is the darkness to the island's light, and that we are going to see like two factors, kind of like the boy in white and kind of like the man in black and Jacob, also fighting for From. And I think that From is the darkness within everybody's soul, hence why it's such a dark, dreary place where monsters come out and it just wants to devour people from the inside out. And I think that we are going to discover that there is more of a connection to Lost than we think.
Okay, that's a dope one right there. And Scarlet.
Oh man, all right. Dang it, I don't have a theory like that with all you guys, but I'm gonna do the best I can with it. So I think that From is essentially, whether it be a pocket realm or dimension, it runs just below our reality, created sort of through a bad worship gone wrong, or just a worship in general that created this through the sacrifice. And in this world, whatever happened during that time was trapped there and essentially trying to get out. And it does run, and I'm assuming we're going to find a town, I think it is Camden, Maine, is going to find the connection to that and why this place was actually created. And all the things inside of it are related to some sort of entities that are in the realm of nightmares and darkness. And you can look at those in all sorts of mythologies, and they control all the sort of keys or gateways between realms. And that's pretty much what I got for it, because otherwise I have to go into deeper like mythology lore. That takes more time.
Okay. So now here's mine. I think From is a pocket dimension, not a conventional pocket dimension, that is fueled by different types of magics and schools of thought brought all to America by settlers, the indigenous people, the people that practice different religions like voodoo and creations of hoodoo, and different mysticisms from even England that were brought over here by the settlers and their religious clergymen, that they ended up in a battle in which they used these schools of thought and the knowledge within them to fight the deities that were there present, used to fight against them. So in other words, From is this place where a tragedy happened on American soil somewhere, or in the Americas of Turtle Island, and after that there began to be a battle that ensued between multiple factions, and the actual deities that were called upon were stuck in this place and had to play a game in order to get out, and also trap others in the midst. And the residents that are brought into this place are brought there due to their ancestors who had been caught in the fray and contributed to these things throughout from the beginning to where we are today. And so I think that if you are related to one of the people that was once in From, you have a chance of being there. And anyone that's associated with you, or anyone that's associated with anything that this entity has touched concerning you in the real world, such as the Boyd and Kelly thing, the Brian Kelly thing, Corporal Brian Kelly, and then a person named Brian and Kelly were brought in there just because of the association in order to taunt Boyd. And so that's just an example, and I hope you guys got my overall theory. And before we move forward, I'd like to thank Luna Cascade for her $20 super chat. Thank you for your generosity. And she says, theory: a pocket universe that randomly draws in people and creatures into it. Each are trying to figure out where they are and how to get out. Different entities use their abilities to control and manipulate escape. And I agree with that 100%. We might not agree on the actual, like, all of the things that have to do with it. However, our overall theories are pretty much the same. I love that theory right there. It's obvious to me that there are different factions, and I think the main clue with that is the crow and the rats eating the crow under the tunnel. I think that's the main clue that shows you that there's at least two deities or entities that are going up against each other. And I think like the things that are inside of the bottles and the monsters and probably other things that are in the forest are things that were pretty much conjured up, like or conjured up, or some sort of rituals done on people to create these things. And that's where I'll land at. What do you guys think about my overall theory? Y'all can just
And
chime
don't
in.
forget, we think we saw the crow have a hat and his talons flew through the window.
Exactly. So I think I think that shows us that we'll get another clue that we have rats and crows going at it. Now, but the thing about it is, it's not really. I don't know, because in some shots it looks like there's nothing there, but then there are other shots where it definitely looks like a rat's body within the crow's talons as it comes through the window, and then it has blood on it as well. It could have been cut while it came through the window, I heard somebody say. But I think if a bird hits a window and gets cut, I think it's probably on its way out of here. It's not going to be able to continue to fly around. I think it was tearing that rat up, because we saw a rat eating rats eating a crow. I think we're going to see a crow getting busy on the rat. But thanks again, Luna Cascade, for your dope generosity and also your dope comment, because I agree with everything you said right there in a nutshell. And we probably have different innards. However, the shell is the same.
I would argue that definitely not everybody who came to Fromville is not random. It's not random. It's not random at all. Like we can see a pattern. Like the Matthews family are going in the adventure in the hope for a new life. Like after they lost their kid, they going on their last hurrah before the divorce. We have the Boyd family going to before pension, also going to a road trip. We have Kenny talking to Father Carter in season 1 and telling him like they found their father walking around the streets, and then when they were driving home. He felt like this is the beginning of a new life. They can turn off a new leaf. He was filled with hope, and we've seen it many times. We have Bhakta hoping for a new life after she finally finished paying her student loan, and she's going to quit her job, and she's going to start a new life. We have Jade selling his company startup, getting probably lots of money and starting once again a new life, new hope. Like this expectation of new life before you get to Fromville is something that repeats itself. Now, I would also argue that people that don't fall to this pattern, like for example Donna, are the more suspicious ones, because like we don't know exactly what happened with Donna and her sister. We just know they were in the hunting trip.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I agree with you 100% about that, because we don't really know much about her backstory. But before we go too far, I would definitely like to thank Vanessa Wicked. And you know what? You guys already know exactly what to do. Like, everybody welcomed all the new members and they celebrated with the emojis. But I gotta tell you, if you got one of those gifts for a membership, please thank Vanessa Wicked in the chat, and also celebrate with those dope emojis that you now have access to. And all the members and everybody in the chat, please welcome the new members and celebrate them as we celebrate the 5,000 subscriber mark that we hit yesterday. It was dope. And notice I said we did it, because we did do it. It was us. It was all of us. Okay, yeah, there she is. She's back. Okay. Yes. All right. So Geekademy, I agree with you on that. There are
also another person who doesn't fall to that theory is Christy, but kind of.
I was gonna say there's so much credence to that theory that there's like a turning point in a person's life right before they get to Fromville. We saw that with Bhakta, Jade, Boyd, even Sarah. We saw that with Sarah. The Matthews are in the middle of a divorce. Like there's like a turning point that seems to be there. However, I think that a lot of it has to do with, because all of us have turning points in our life, right? So like I think that it's a little bit deeper than just the turning points in our life. I think it has something to do with the actual family members and things. Now, family members and associations. One of my theories is that Christy is not, well, I should say Marielle is not there because Christy's there. I think Christy's there because of Marielle. Maybe this place brought Christy there because Christy was trying to help Marielle and be there for her while she was going through her addiction problem and things of that nature. And it brought Christy there to taunt her and get her to go back into that wanting to, you know, turn into a junkie again. And while she was trying to get herself, then she leaves to go to a rehab to get herself together. And then she ends up back in Frumlin. So I think that if you look at their whole narrative, what we know about their narrative, we'll find that other people are in Frumlin due to someone else in their family or someone else in their association is there. I'd also like to point out, in this last episode, you know, they did the recap. And every single part of the recap was speaking to something that happened in the episode. Like, my mind is drawing a blank right now on some of the connections, but every single part of the recap had something to do with what was going on in this particular episode. The only thing that you can't really match is the death of Megan and the Pratt family, and they showed the Pratt family situation. Now, that doesn't match with anything that went on in this episode. I think that the show is far enough now that they don't have to set the proper caveat for what's going on here. You know, the recap could have really been about, you know, what this place is, like the conversation that Donna has with Tabitha on that first night. It could be about that. They could have did that. Then they could have just segued into the events that led to Tabitha falling out of the tower. However, that recap that they did, it seemed like it was to set the stage for everything that they were talking about in this episode, except for the part about the Pratt family. Now, I have a theory that Tilly is the grandmother of little Megan, which would make either Lauren or Frank her child, right? And she's brought up her children. And the way that they've played the character of Tilly, it makes a lot of people suspicious of Tilly, right? But I think if I was going to write a show, I would make the person look suspicious and there'll be nothing nefarious about them. However, I would have the person that you think was there to help, a person that you actually trust, I would make that person know something or do a plot twist with that person so that you would feel betrayed and you would feel a certain way. I wouldn't do it with Tilly. The reason why is because you would already suspect that. Like, you're like, how does she know about Boyd going out to the woods? How does she know to bring how did she probably knew that Marielle was a drug addict and she brings morphine in this place? Like, her things, you know, people definitely suspect that in her. And then if you really want to look at my theory about her possibly being connected to the Pratts, then it makes sense why they put the Pratts in the recap. And then you also see Tilly being instrumental in this episode when it came to talking to Ellis, and also when it came to being just popping up in Elgin's little fever dream. So I'll land there. What do you guys think about that?
I think they showed the Pratts in the preview to show how the monsters used to get the humans, and then episode one of season 3 shows how they've progressed in their hunting and cunning abilities. because now, according to the credits of episode 1 of season 3, the creatures are now nightmare creatures. And to me, that means they've evolved. They've transcended from just simply talking to someone like Jasmine was doing and manipulating for a long period of time to now they are more than likely contaminating the soil. They are letting the livestock out of the places they had confined, and they'll probably start even throwing stuff in windows to force people out instead of just being somewhat held back because of the talisman. So I think that's the whole Pratt connection as far as the preview that we saw.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. You said they might be throwing stuff through windows. Do you have like a overall theory video for season 3?
I do. I had a reaction for just the episode 1, but as far as the whole season, I don't have that. But if I had to kind of spitball it right now, I believe that the two things that's going to happen by, we'll say, the end of season 3 is the creatures, or the nightmare creatures that they are now, they are going to possibly start running, and they're going to do more than just simply walking around in a group and being cunning. I predict they're going to be running. I predict that they may be even flying. They're going to evolve to be better predators. And my next thing would be that Boyd, by the end of season 3 to kick off and start season 4, he's going to become more sadistic, more hopeless, and more willing to do anything to quote unquote win. It will no longer be about we all go home together and him being nice and trying to save total strangers like Martin. He's going to be more sadistic. He's going to be willing to sacrifice lives like other people do in the military. And I see him maybe even negotiating with the evil to coexist.
Indeed. And just to get your perspective on what Geekademy was saying about the turning points, Luna Cascade has a great question. What do you think Randall's turning point is? To me, it kind of feels just as vague as Sarah's, being that we got a little bit of it, but we even got a little bit less with Randall, as far as him just saying that he was on his way to his nephew's birthday. Like, what do you think his turning point was?
If no one else, I think Randall's going to fall for Marielle. I saw in the episode listing that he and Marielle are going to share a moment. I think he's going to start developing feelings for her, and I think that's going to turn him into being more. Either he's going to be I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What do you think led him to this place? What do you think he was going through before he got there? I mean, bro's riding. He's got a shotgun on the bus. He's got a drone with him. Like, what do you think his turning point was? And if not, Parklin, Geekademy, chime in on that one.
Well, regarding Randall, like I have like an idea, but it's probably more based on me watching way too many movies. It feels like, he's coming to his nephew's birthday, and it feels like, once again, it's not based on anything. He wants to like fix some relationship with his brother or his sister. Probably this is the starting point. He's obviously a very complicated person. He's like, you can see that he has a good heart. He's not a coward, and he wants to help people, but he's also like really has a lot of anger issues. Like, you don't touch this person at all. So probably, like if I would go to some theory lands and put our tinfoil hats, this is for me the tinfoil hat area, right? It's not based on any evidence.
And I want to say thank you to Luna Cascade once again for the $5 super chat. She says, and I know she was probably referring when Parklin was talking. She said, remember, the nightmare creatures are just the tip of the spear. There's more out there. And so I think she brings up a great point. We tend to put a lot of focus on the nightmare creatures and what they're doing. I think that they personally have been cunning since the very beginning. I mean, they tricked little Megan. They were trying to trick. And I see what you mean by them turning it up a notch by actually devising like a chess move in order, pardon me, to get someone in the barn and trap someone. Yeah, I definitely see that. I think that they've displayed that they could kind of do this anyway, right? To me, it kind of feels like they're just letting their hair down a little bit. I don't think they're necessarily evolving. I think they're what they are, and they can do what they can do. And I think that they look at this as exactly what it is. It's a game. They say things in a way to make you feel like they're playing some sort of game. They've even stated that I like this game. I want to play. You should come outside and play. Aren't you bored in there? Don't you want to come out? You'll feel much better if you come outside. Like, I just feel like they are what they are. You know what I mean? And the stakes have been raised due to Boyd actually saying things like, he made a command, like a game command, when he said, "You can't break me." And so now that's what they're trying to do. That's what the objective is. I think he's provoked them. I think Boyd has provoked them in some sort of way. Not only by that, look at the way they walked away when Smiles Davis was down there. They looked at him for a second, and then they walked away like they just lost the baseball game. Like, they had their heads hanging low, and it just seemed like, okay, now it's our move. And so this is what we're beginning to see now. The cicadas didn't get them. It seems like when they're in the presence of something bigger, that they stand and observe. The Boyd had those things inside of him, and they stood and observed. And then whatever was knocking in the RV, they just stood there and observed. And yeah, so that's what I think about that. And thank you again, Luna Cascade, for your generosity and the dope comment. I mean, the dope reminder for real, because yeah, the monsters are not the big bads here. Something else is at play. The monsters, I believe, are something that happened because of a ritual. I believe that the little children are being turned into those monsters. So I don't know if you've seen my backup on that, but I definitely believe that is the case to be. That is not one of my little esoteric clues. That is more, I have an esoteric breakdown also about why I think so. However, I think that's one of those right in your face clues, like the claws, the veins, the loss of hair. I think those definitely are, that's the case there. But yeah, Taran, what do you think?
Gosh. Sorry, we've talked about so many different things.
Yeah, I know I rambled on. You could just about what I was just talking about.
Right. I mean, if you don't mind, I'd like to. Oh yeah. So what was interesting was earlier you guys were discussing what's going to happen in season 3, like what the overall, like what are your predictions, overall predictions? So I could speak to that a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
So I think here's what I think is going to happen. All right. Marielle, Julie, and Randall are going to continue having cicada visions and probably worm visions and probably ballerina visions too. I think the ballerina monster didn't actually, I don't think Boyd smashing the music box really stopped that much. I think that the ballerina monster still needs to pick an avatar. And I think that avatar will be one of these 3. I think it will end up being Marielle because that causes the most pain. You know, there's a love triangle between Christy and Kenny. So if she gets possessed by a monster, then nobody can be together. You know, Elgin may also become possessed by the kimono monster. You know, I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see people be possessed. I'm really worried that Jade is going to be possessed by some kind of monster as well. I really wouldn't like that because I love his character so much. You know, the actor's great and all, but I don't want to see him pretending to be someone else. I want him to be Jade. What else? I'm really looking forward to seeing the tarot card reading that we saw teased in a teaser for episode 2 that's been publicly released. I think that's a big hint that my tarot card aspect of my theory is correct, and everyone's going to need to get used to the idea that what's happening here is people, basically people representing different cards by various beings.
Sorry about my dog.
So that's about it. Yeah.
Yo, Victor, pull out the gun, shoot it in the air. The dog runs away. Go ahead.
Oh, and by the way, Ethan is definitely gonna steal the gun that Boyd took from Victor.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, did you see how he looked at the gun?
He's gonna time travel with Julie and shoot his own granddad.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I remember. So, yes, just a quick recap on that theory. I was saying that Victor gave him the staff, he gave him the jacket, and he's gonna get another item. And I even said it's possibly an item of protection. And then you have Victor giving Boyd the gun, and as he puts it in his jacket pocket, he they definitely show you Ethan's face looking at the gun. Ethan was ready to get the gun. Shout out to Victor. Let me ask Scarlet and Dana a question. Being that we saw how Victor was ready to turn up with the gun, he was ready to put some toast on Randall, no butter. Do you think that Victor has ever killed someone before? Because he looked like he was like, yo, man, I will body you right here in front of everybody. Like, do you think that Victor has popped somebody before?
That's a good question. Definitely trauma there. Definitely making him think of something. So him handling the gun like that, he's already shot it off once. I'm trying to think of who though. Like, because are we going to assume the gun came from his dad, or did he just randomly find a firearm? And then who did he shoot? Like, would it be pre-massacre, like his massacre, or someone after that? And I would think it'd have to be before then, but then I don't think he would have done it that early. Oh, it's a good question. After, I don't know, man. Honestly, I would say no, but I wouldn't put it past him.
Dana, what do you think?
Yes, I definitely think he used that gun before, without a doubt, because look at the huge amount of time. Yeah, like the huge amount of time he was in this place. He's a kid. Somebody could have rolled in that could have tried to abuse him in some way, and he had to use the firearm. Somebody could have tried to put his life in danger, and he used the firearm. So I definitely think that he either used that gun before. Maybe, I don't know if he killed someone, but he's definitely comfortable with that firearm. So I would think that something happened, and maybe he did shoot somebody before.
Yes, indeed. And Hector says something in there just jumped out to me, that the hospital had 13 floors. I was on somebody's live stream last night. They were talking about that, a girl named Struggle Reviews. And she was talking about, they were talking about in the comment section how the hospital had 13 floors. Now, typically, I don't know about how it is in the UK, Taran, or out there where you guys are, Igor. However, here in America, older hospitals and older hotels don't have a 13th floor. I don't know why.
Yeah,
The actual there's a superstition about it. It's a superstition about it. However, I don't know how that actually became like a thing in actual architecture where they would not, name one of the floors the 13th floor. Of course, there's a 13th floor, but the numbering of the floor is 14, and they just go from 12 to 14. And that's with a lot of your older hospitals. Your newer hospitals that actually have a lot of floors, they don't do that as much. But back in the day, they used to do that here. What does that mean? Because the hospital that she's in, it doesn't seem like one of the new joints. It seems like an older hospital. It's right there it's right there by the shore. You would think that it was an older hospital. I don't know if anybody, I know on Reddit last year, everybody knew that she was in Camden, Maine, but that hospital, St. Anthony's, exists somewhere else. I don't think the hospital was actually in Camden, Maine. So that I don't know what that's about. However, hospitals didn't have a 13th floor back in the day. What do you guys think that means? Because the camera definitely made a point. They definitely made it a point to show us that.
Maybe there's a famous Stephen King connection to the 13th floor. Why don't we look that up? Hang on. 13th floor, Stephen King. It sounds kind of familiar. 14.
Wayne says that most people wouldn't buy a place on the 13th floor, so they'd skip it.
Oh, here we go. So okay, I've never heard of this. So Stephen King wrote a story about a cursed room on the 13th floor of a hotel, number 1408. Oh, okay, so that's what the clue is, in my opinion.
It's actually a really good movie.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, okay. Thank you, Real, for pointing that out. It's another clue to Stephen King. Let's see if we end up with Stephen King. May I also mention the number on the that's Henry's house? It's like 1597 or some date like that. It's a Fibonacci number. It's the 17th Fibonacci number. Just so you know.
Okay.
That's what it is. So it's basically supposed to say 17. If it's the 17th Fibonacci number, then the answer to that clue is 17. What does 17 mean? I have no idea. Why is it Fibonacci? I have no idea. But that's what the clue is.
Okay, the root number of 17 is 8. I don't know if that has any relevance to it.
And then also, did you notice Henry's car has 1976 on it? 1976 and then like 2 letters, like D.
GS.
What was it?
It's a model. GS, it's a model probably. Yeah. It's a year in the model.
And then you have 1579 is the house number.
Yeah, it can happen. Like with cars, you can choose a year in the model, especially in older cars. Can I ask a question here, especially the Americans from a panel? And I'm probably gonna have to fold off already because it's like midnight again. It's something that was pointed out to me by somebody from my stream or in the comments, and it kind of bothers me. Like in the conversation, maybe you already talked about it, guys, and I missed it. In the conversation between Martin and Tabitha says like my baby was fallen from a changing table because of God, and then when the priest comes out, he's asking what was his name. Is it something that can be explained just by the way you talk, like you don't want to call a baby it in this kind of situation, or this is something that's kind of suspicious about the priest?
It is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know.
Well, it's definitely interesting that he said his. What's his name? When she didn't state whether it was a boy or a girl that died.
And I was thinking about the way you're asking that question, because if I didn't know, if a mother came up to me and I was in that same situation, I wouldn't know. I would try to think, would I just assume male or just go with him as just a general, way to phrase something as opposed to just saying
what was their name is what you would say. You would say, what was their name, I imagine.
I mean, that might be proper, but what would be normal? Like, everyday slang as opposed to what would be proper. But it would be a priest who thinking
Your robot, Imbo.
Okay, yes. I thought that was strange. I actually wasn't disappointed that the priest didn't do what everybody thought. A lot of people thought that the priest would put Tabitha in contact with Victor. A lot of people thought the priest would have known about what happened with Eloise. But I was like, dang, he doesn't know. And then all of a sudden he rushes out to talk to her and he says, what was his name? That's a good name. That whole conversation was great. And if it wasn't for that priest, I think he knew what was going on. I think he knows something. I think he was there. And what he was doing was playing chess. And it was almost like how the monsters played chess with the animals, letting them out the barn. He wanted to get them inside of the box. they wanted to get them inside of the box, and it seemed like that priest wanted Tabitha to look inside of the lunchbox. Because why was he inquiring about what kind of snack a grown man with a lunchbox made a woman with holes in her clothes, talking about a monster? Like, why would he be like, what snack was it? You think you can break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar? Like, why did he want to know what the snack was? And so, you know, he wanted her to look. It seemed like he directed her to the contents of the lunchbox.
It feels to me a little bit like the boogeyman let Tabitha leave, you know? Like, it almost feels like it wants her out in the real world. It wants her to do something in the real world, you know, while she's out there. And I'm very curious as to what that might be. I mean, look, there's spoilers that I can't talk about because it's like public information that's like on Rotten Tomatoes in the images, which I think is fair game because like it's clearly been uploaded publicly. But yeah, I'm just thinking she's out there for a reason, and I wonder if the boy in white is able to appear in the real world, then surely the boogeyman could. So what if the boogeyman takes the form of this priest to set her on her way to Henry's house? What is it that he wants her to do if he is the priest?
Yeah, right. Okay, so a lot of people think so I'm looking at the comments, and a lot of people think that the priest was just being a priest and kind of just there to help someone in need. But then you got to ask yourself two major questions. How did he know it was a boy? And also, why did he want to know about the snack? That is just like, okay. I think he wanted her to look at the picture of Julie. I think he wanted her to look at the contents of that box.
Another thing is that if you like look at his acting choices when he was talking to Abita, like through the confession, you can see that he was surprised by her saying that she lost her baby. Like, I would imagine that a priest that hears confessions every day probably heard everything that happened to humans and wouldn't be like that surprised. There was a reaction, and it was directed by somebody. Somebody told him, like a director, anybody there, the showrunner told him, like, at this moment, you're surprised. You heard something that triggered you somehow. So, yeah, the priest is most definitely suspicious. I'm not going to be surprised if we're going to see him more in this season, especially if we come back to this moment when Victor's father comes back to his home, and if he's not thinking about Tabitha as a hooker, maybe there are some people here that basically know about From. Maybe they just believe it. Maybe there's some kind of like a cult or something like this, and they are bothering Victor's father because he's connected to this place somehow. And maybe the priest is one of them. And I'm going to use this opportunity to say thank you to everybody and goodbye. Thank you so much for having me on this stream. It's a bit late at my place, so I'm going to fold. And Real, thank you so much again for inviting me, and congratulations on the 5K. Hopefully see you all in the next one.
Yes, indeed. It was great having you. Oh, yes. Yes. It was great having Geekademy, the great Geekademy, breaking down the theories, breaking down every single episode. Please, somebody drop Geekademy's link in the chat. We definitely like having him aboard for sure.
Yeah, and if there's ever a Monday you feel like staying up late, you got to come join us on panel as well.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Anytime he's up late, I think.
You too, Parklin. You too, Taran. Any Monday you guys want to come on and join some other creators, seat's yours.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for the invite.
Yes. So, can you guys see this?
I mean, I think we've gotten so many different time period references now that people need to assume this is a historical sequence that covers different times in history. that we will see probably through flashbacks of some kind. And, you know, I wonder if people are thinking, what do these clues point to in history? We're given all these clues. We're supposed to somehow be able to decipher what it means. You know, the showrunners have said, like, it's all there. You know, like you can solve it. So, you know, are people looking at these clues and trying to connect them to certain time periods, you know, along with the dates in the lighthouse? That's what I've been trying to do. So, you know, that's my question to you guys. Like, are you guys considering that this is a historically focused show and that the clues are pointing to not vague historical swathes of time, but super specific events and people and places?
You know who you should talk to, Taran, in all honesty? Ravener. Ravener's a big time history person, and he has been diving so deep to find correlations between the dates in the lighthouse to real life like events within history. And you should definitely talk to Ravener.
I mean, I wish he would read my theory, because I've listed every single historical figure that I think this show is referencing in the clues along, like specifically on those times. So, you know, but anyway, I think at the moment he thinks that I'm slightly crazed, which I think
No,
is
doesn't.
the opinion of a lot of people at the moment. So, you know, I'm sort of waiting for things like Bigfoot to show up, and, you know, things that I've predicted to happen, you know, very specific things that I've predicted to start happening, and then I'll have that conversation. But for now, I'm just going to hide in my corner. I'm actually thinking that I may stop jumping on other people's lives outside of reels, unless specifically invited, like for a specific date, because I just think it would be more respectful to just like die back a little bit now. But yeah, it's, you know, it's been a lot of fun doing all this theorizing, and if people want to talk to me about it, I'm down for it. But I think I'm going to be a little less sort of proactive, perhaps I should say, outside of just me and Real, you know, theorizing on here. I think that's fine. There's only a few hundred of us watching anyway. It's not going to spoil the show for millions of people around the world.
No, and I think that this Newfoundland trip in July is going to be real dope to bring back something to the community that's different, rare facts, just to the entire world that are not, they're just lesser known about the Beothark, Cape Race, just history about Newfoundland. And I love it because it's a subject that I'm dear to. Aside from, you know, your connections to From, I do a lot of research on Turtle Island. And so it's just a part of that whole research as well. And it's definitely incorporated and intertwined with Turtle Island and the people of Turtle Island, the original indigenous people of Turtle Island. And if the showrunners are listening, I hope that's what you guys are talking about here. I hope that's where you guys are rounding this thing off, because I'm betting that there's a lot of information that we're going to find on this trip. And for those who don't know, Taran and I are going on a trip to Newfoundland, Canada in July of 2025. And if you want to donate to that trip, you can donate by super chat, gifting memberships, or you could hit our PayPal link. It's in my bio, and some of the mods will be posting those links as well, and the Cash App as well. 100% of your donation goes towards the trip if you donate via Cash App or PayPal. However, on YouTube, they do take $4.50 for every $10. So they take 45 cents on a dollar with YouTube. And so only a portion of that donation will go towards the trip. So
that's going to be a good, very good, good like documentary, I think. It's going to your side of the trip, and we're going to film a lot of it. I'm going to buy a new GoPro as well to document it. And Real, I'm going to make a prediction here. And maybe it's a little crazy. I think if we do this documentary and this little mini documentary in Providence that's coming up, that if there is a sort of making of from sort of like a after show that they do at the end of the season, at the end of the final season, I think that certain clips from that documentary might make its way onto the after show. I really do. I mean, it's the only fan trip that's really happening. It's like from fans actually traveling to try and like research stuff. And I do think it genuinely is going to end up being Newfoundland as well, which is pretty cool. So I genuinely think that we may have like the show approaching us, asking to buy the rights to share those videos on the behind the scenes after show.
Dope. And I keep saying Newfoundland. It's Newfoundland.
Yeah, sorry, it is. I was the one who mispronounced it first, and then you learned it from me. So
right, yeah. I mean, it looks like that on the map anyway. It looks like Newfoundland. It sounds like
it does.
it looks like that. But yeah, it's Newfoundland. And yeah, that would be really dope. That would be super dope if they were to do that. I definitely think that you're right about that theory, and I think that you're right about it having to do with that far back in history. Taking the dates on the tower pretty much points you to that, and different things that have happened in Turtle Island. I think that if they drop Turtle Island on From will be the ultimate GOAT show for sure. But yeah.
Have you seen any turtles?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen any turtles.
Because I've seen crabs. I even think the beer box that Henry has a crab on it. And also remember the word cancer is used on the show. I think it's related to one of Hercules' battles with a giant crab. Again, I know it sounds crazy, but that's what I think it means. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
I would hope to see some turtles.
Yes, indeed. And shout out to Parklin Media, just dropped the $5 super chat. He says, thanks for having me, Real Enigmas and Theories. Congrats on the 5K. Thank you to everyone who was on the panel and chat for having me. This was great. Thanks again. He had to go. I'm looking forward to having another one with him, bringing him up here. I love his perspective. It's really good to have different perspectives and talk about them, because I believe that's truly what we'll see when we figure it out. I'm about to drop that link in the chat for Percy to hop up here as well. Yes, indeed. Want to get Percy up here.
Yes, and you gotta give him my info so we can have him on Monday with all you guys.
Oh yeah, that'll be great. That's no problem. We all connected and linked in. Yeah. So the trip is gonna be dope. Also,
you guys are gonna have so much fun.
Also, the Providence trip is next month. We'll be in Providence for episode 5. That's gonna be lit. My flight's already booked. I'm ready to go. So yeah, me and Taran will be up in Providence doing some research for another documentary for H.P. Lovecraft. Percy's in the back, but I can't bring him up. It's not connected. You're not connected. Oh yes, without a doubt. Thanks for reminding me, Dr. Deb. I definitely didn't want to not bring Percy up. We're gonna hop off here about 6 o'clock actually. So I definitely want to hear some thoughts of Percy's. I'm gonna do a live stream with Percy one time, and I definitely am gonna see what time he can come through. We'll do one of our express lives. You're gonna see the express pop-up lives at any time. You never know when. I never know when. Something happens, we going live. If I find something, we going live. It's just that simple. Somebody calls me and they want to hop on the live, like Taran, yo, you want to go live? I'll be like, yes, let's go live. It's still doing it, Percy. It's still doing it. So while Percy gets up,
Yeah, before Percy jumps on, I do want to honestly say real congratulations on your 5K. It is very, very well deserved. We are extremely proud of you, and I thank you for everything you bring to the community, and you deserve it. So celebrate.
well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me. This is so much fun creating YouTube content. It keeps me sharp, gets me on my toes. I love creating these videos. I want to apologize for my recap video being in such low quality. I don't know why YouTube was doing that. It kept telling me that the file was too big, and it was a 30-minute long video, but I don't know why it wouldn't. So then I dropped the quality down, and then YouTube wouldn't let it go to 720p. So it should be able to go to 720, but it won't. So I'm like, what's going on? YouTube is kind of shitting on me with that. Do you guys think I should try to render it once again and re-upload it? I didn't want to waste your time with watching the same video, but better quality, it hits harder. So if y'all want to see that, I'll do it. Just let me know, yes or no, in the chat, if I should re-upload the video in better quality. Here he is. Now it's working.
I had myself muted, man.
Okay, yeah. We're locked
What's going on, peoples?
All is
What's
well.
up, Percy?
What's up, Percy?
What's going on?
Yeah, we gonna hop off here in about a half hour, Percy. So I want to let you wrap real quick. I want to get your thoughts on the season 3, episode 1. Like, break it down to me.
Well, man, look, I got a lot to talk about in a little bit of time, but I want to tell y'all why I think Tabitha is not in the real world. And they show you with a little Easter egg. You guys watch The Matrix, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember the lady in red?
Mm-hmm.
The lady in red was to let him know, was a symbol to let him know that he was in a simulation.
Yeah.
At timestamp 6:39, you see a man in red. And while Tabitha's walking around, he is constantly, almost in every shot, the same guy is always in the background, almost like he's following her. And I just thought it was interesting because in The Matrix, you have a man in red that signifies that he was in a simulation. But from what I'm correct, is they kind of do the opposite, go the polar opposite direction of some of the materials that they use. It makes sense that you have a man in red. So that's why I think Tabitha is not in the real world.
And those people, they're like extras. And sometimes you see that happen with extras in movies, but it was just happening with too many people in those scenes. I agree with you. Especially and the man in red had like this distinctive bop about his walk too. Like,
yes. So you seen him.
Yeah. And then he's walking one way, and then in the very next shot, he's walking the opposite way. I saw that.
Yep, like he's following. It's almost like he's following Tabitha. A guy like that with a bright red shirt and a bright bandana, that just sticks out too much to be somebody just like a prop, in my opinion.
Okay, so what are your other clues to her not being in the real world?
We
talked about the 13th floor.
Yeah, the 13th floor. The boy in white being out there. I thought it was funny that he led her to a creperie shop. I can't say the word, but it's basically a French coffee shop. And she goes right up to the coffee machine. The boy's at the coffee machine.
I thought it was an ice cream parlor. Because I heard somebody say, "Do you want 1 scoop or 2 scoops?" Right when she walked in there.
Well, it's a one of them. It's a CREPERI. I can't pronounce the word, but we have them all over Lancaster, and they're basically French coffee shops, and they probably have like ice cream and stuff like that. But when you see the boy, when she approaches the boy, you see the coffee machine right there.
Nah, it was an ice cream shop, but
It was?
yeah, my grandmother used to tell me about ice cream shops back in the day, and ice cream shops used to be drugstores. Like ice cream shops, the drugstore was what, or the drugstores used to be ice cream shops. Like where you went to go get your drugs and stuff like that, they used to have ice cream parlors in there. And the reason why is because the medicine, a lot of it was, taken by mouth, and it was nasty or it would be bitter. And what they would do is like make sodas with it and stuff like that. And you can get you a little ice cream soda or whatever. And that's how you took your medicine. It would be the pharmacy. But yeah,
Spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down.
yeah, that's what they would do back in the day. My grandmother used to tell me about that all the time. Yo, I want to shout out my member real quick, a new member we just got. And her name is Tiffany. Tiffany. Oh, Tiffany. Okay. Yes, Tiffany. Tiffany W. Welcome her as a new member, everybody. They did that already. I know I don't have to say it, but I definitely want to say it. And Tiffany, if you want to, you can celebrate with some of those new emojis that you have access to. We're glad you're here. Good to have you a part of the Magnified. And yeah, we rocking. But Percy, carry on. We want to hear some more of your thoughts. You got any more for her not being in the real world?
Well, just to go back onto that shop, I got it written down. When she walks into the window, it says coffee and creperies.
Oh, okay.
And it has a sun symbol on the door, on the window.
Oh, wow. Okay. Coffee and creperies. Okay. Well, you got it. You got that. Okay. So, okay. Yes. Oh, yes, she has been here with me for quite some time. If you've been here for since I was under 500 subs, then man, that's over a year for sure. I had a 500 subs was maybe around June 7th or something like that. By June 19th, we had 1,000 subs. It was crazy. It was out of nowhere. And all of y'all did that. Like, that wasn't me. That was just me sharing my ideas, dropping my videos, and rocking the tinfoil hat over top of my locks, and sharing with y'all. I was having fun, and we're here now. This is where we're at from that. It's crazy. I'm bugging out off of this. Yes, indeed. June 2023. Yes, it was that time. Yes, indeed. But Percy, carry on. Let me guide you a little bit. What do you think? What did you think about Katri?
What, the whole conversation, how he's telling them that they're not panicked enough and stuff like that?
Right. So lead me into what you think about that scene, into what you've always thought about Katri, and does it kind of coincide? Does it give your theory about Katri a little more oomph?
Yes, it does. So basically what I got from that conversation with Katri is Katri was giving him good advice and bad advice at the same time, by telling them they're not panicked enough. Now, panic is a form of fear. Fear can either freeze you or it can motivate you to make a move, to move. And that's what I think he was that's what he was subliminally getting Boyd to do, was to be panicked, to either make a move that's going to benefit them or the opposite, that's just like going to fuck them over. What I thought was very interesting is when Boyd says, "What are you?" He says, "I can't tell you that."
Right.
Some of the rules to these entities and to these gods is they're not allowed to reveal their true identity to you. It's against their laws. It's against their rules.
Right, like a Rumpelstiltskin. Like he couldn't tell you his name. You had to figure his shit out.
Yep.
Right.
So that's what I tied that into, and yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you. Okay, so here's my thought. I'm gonna push back just a little bit.
Go ahead.
I think that it's a possibility that Katri is a Boyd's figment of his imagination. Just a possibility. I'm gonna just throw this out there to push back, and we'll run this through the panel real quick and come back to you, and see what you got to say. I think that he could possibly be a figment of Boyd's imagination, and the reason why he says, Boyd, I'm sorry, I won't be able to tell you that, is because Boyd doesn't know. And so if Boyd doesn't know and Khatri's a figment of his imagination, then Khatri wouldn't know. So what do you think on that? And run that through the panel.
Well, you said imagination. So imagination is one of the fundamentals to this place. So you could exactly be right. Now, what I think Khatri is to Boyd, what Tom is to Jade, is sort of like it's a 2-in-1. It's the guardian angel. It's the little devil on the right shoulder and the angel on the left. I think that's what Khatri is for Boyd. That's what Tom is for Jade, and that's what that Japanese wraith is for Fatima. All these people, remember I was talking about like the spirits and stuff like that possessing these people and having influence. I think now the show is going to start showing us these things that are naked to their eye.
Okay. So let me run this through the panel real quick. Not to cut you off. We're gonna do a whole live stream together. We got about 15 more minutes.
Yep.
I already know what Taran is gonna say, and he has me actually convinced. With the pawn thing and what Kenny said, he brought this up to me, but I definitely want to get Dana and Scarlet real quick first. Dana, what do you think about Khatri? Was he a figment or was he some sort of entity?
Oh, I believe he's some kind of entity. I definitely don't think he's a figment of Boyd's imagination. I definitely think that something is able to use the dead and like their form or their image or anything to manipulate the people from. So I'm definitely thinking that he is an entity of some kind.
Okay, what do you think, Scarlet?
Yeah, definitely where Dana's going with that. Just the way they show him along with the Abby and how she pops up in there definitely makes me think whatever this, I don't know if it's going to be attached to sort of the lesser or the greater entity, but yeah, definitely sus.
Okay, and Taran, I already know what you about to say, but break it down for us. We need to hear it.
Yeah, well, the thing that makes me think that the big bad is Khatri, well, there's a whole bunch, but I'll try and keep it simple. When Boyd's about to succumb to the ballerina, Khatri's there looking all smug and happy. Also, when Boyd and Kenny are talking about Sarah in the church, Kenny says to Boyd, he's using her like a pawn. And then in like the very next scene, Boyd's in the post office and Khatri's in there talking to him for the first time, and he's holding a pawn in his hands. So it just makes me think he's the big bad for sure.
Okay. And once again, thank you, the great, lovely Luna Cascade, with another super chat. She says, congratulations to you on the subs. Cream always rises to the top. Plus, you have a fabulous mods. They're always welcoming and helpful with the links. Yes, they are. I thank the mods for every single thing that they do. I love all of you guys helping me out. I appreciate everybody that comes in the chat. Even there are some people, beautiful people that are here that are not even mods, and they greet people just the same. I think that the vibe is contagious. I love it here, and I thank you as well. And thank you again for your generosity. Yes, indeed. Anybody wanting the spoilers that Igor was talking about, I believe he posted them in my Discord. I do have a spoiler spot in there. I'm not in there. I don't really rock spoilers heavy like that. I like some of the picture spoilers. They're not really that bad because they're not really telling you what's going on. But like any of the text or any of the videos, shots from, any of that kind of shit, I don't really partake in it. But it's in there if you like that kind of thing. Because there's some people that like that kind of thing. I try not to go deep into spoilers unless they're like apparent spoilers, like the death of Tien Chen. If you don't know by now, I mean, you shouldn't even be crying about spoilers. Everybody else has saw the episode. If you don't want to be spoiled, kind of like stay off the stay off the radar. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll tell you what, man. The decision to release 4 episodes to the press was so confusing to me. Like avoiding spoilers on like the days leading up to season 3, episode 1, when I was like trying to put my theory together, was tough. People posting everywhere, and it was annoying to me because if I get something right and it was in the first 4 episodes, people are going to claim that
you saw the
somehow
spoilers.
I've
Yeah.
seen them or something. So that was very frustrating, but that's why as well I like got it out as quickly as possible because I just couldn't wait. So I stayed up super late, like writing it and tweaking it, and then I did the video and then I tweaked it a little bit more.
Okay.
And then it's a whole thing.
So real quick, last 10 minutes, Percy. Okay, so Percy, you watched this episode, and we're gonna dig into this again on the next live, or I'm gonna definitely keep in contact with you to let you know when I'm gonna do my express live, my next express live. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen soon. But real quick, you watched the episode. We all watched the episode. We had a good time. Has anything changed about your theory since you saw the episode? And if so, what?
Oh man, I shit the bed, man. I thought she was going to wake up in 2001. I thought Tabitha actually time traveled. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I did have a theory that a cell phone was going to come into play. I had a theory a security guard was going to come into play, but it turns out it's a detective. That detective's definitely going to come into play, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it didn't go quite like I thought, but I will say I did like it. I have some favorite parts and I have some not so favorite parts that we got plenty of time to talk about later. But yeah, I thought, man, she was going to wake up in 2001.
Okay, yeah. Everybody was saying that. I just felt like the gear inside the hospital looked too new, too modern.
Yeah.
2001. I remember what shit was looking like back then. Yeah, it wasn't looking like that. Not in 2020. I mean, it's not like she was in a real high-tech hospital room or nothing. I'm just saying the flat screen, shit like that. You know what I mean?
There was so much symbology in that room. Damn, you hear my daughter screaming?
Yeah, she just went Super Saiyan, didn't she?
Playing Fortnite.
I thought, you sure she ain't playing Dragon Ball?
Wow.
She about to hurt somebody in that game.
Fortnite, man. If y'all don't know, don't even bother.
My nephew plays that hard.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, she went wild right there. Okay. I know her siblings don't want to get on her bad side. Anyway, let's get back to it. So what else changed about your theory? You said you shit the bed with with
her waking up in 2001. It seems like she's going to return sooner than later. Like I thought she was going to be out for a while, but I fucked up and I took a peek into your
my spoiler chat.
Man, I seen that picture. I backed out so fast.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, I shit the bed with the opening scene being Boyd ringing the bell. I thought they did it. They did it season 1. They did it season 2.
I was sad about that. Actually.
Yeah, I was like, damn. But then what made me feel better about it was the fact that technically they picked up where they left off, just like season 2 picked up where season 1 left off. So I'm not mad that they started off with that. Another thing that we shit the bed on was the eclipse. However, the eclipse didn't happen then. However, it will happen. I think we see the eclipse. You could go on, I think it is Rotten Tomatoes, and look at all the episode pictures.
Is it an eclipse or a full moon?
I think the episode pictures, like it just shows you like the pictures in the synopsis and stuff of each episode. That's not like a really big spoiler thing for me. Like I'm talking about like actual spoilers from within inside the episode. But those kind of spoilers are not too bad. They're actually for people that watch the show. Some people are journaling their time on television and they say, hey, I don't watch a lot of TV. This show is one of my favorite shows. So let me know when these are going, how long they're going to be. Oh, we're getting 10 episodes this season. Oh, that's going to take us to the week of Thanksgiving. So like, I can understand those things, but actual like real life spoilers, like, nah, I don't do those either. But for the episode 9, we do see that I'm not even going to say it. Y'all go ahead and look at it if you want to. Come on into the Discord and check on in with us. There's a lot of conversation going in there, a lot of prime cooking in there going on, prime time cooking, and people are in there at all times of the night and day from different spots of the world. It's a really dope vibe in the Discord. Come check it out. Somebody hit the link for the put the link in there for the Discord, and we're gonna end this live here. We got like 5 minutes. Percy, last thoughts in these last 5 minutes. Go ahead and rock out.
You notice how Boyd's hands got fully healed?
Nah, I noticed his hand was shaking.
No, but remember he cut his hand?
Oh yeah, he did cut his hand. Now I noticed his arm was healed as well.
Yeah, I didn't notice the cut on his hand anymore.
Yeah, I thought that because it didn't happen that long before he got shot, right?
Yeah, it wasn't healing, right? Like it was acting like it didn't want to heal, and now the Parkinson's is back, but that's healed.
I got a different take. I think it's Parkinson's, the alcoholic shakes, and the battle fatigue.
Okay.
I think each one of his I don't want to say illness. People don't get it when I say possessed, but maybe his influences. I think each one of his influences had, like Boyd the Body has the alcoholic shakes. I think he's also influenced by Perseus the demigod, which would have the battle shakes. And then I think his other part is basically really the Grim Reaper. And I think the Grim Reaper has radiation / heavy metal poisoning.
Okay. Well, Percy, I'm gonna call you. We're gonna hook this up.
Yeah.
Taran, Dana, and Scarlet, I thank you for coming through. I thank Geekademy for coming through. Parklin Media for coming through. I thank all of you for coming through and your continued support. Everybody that blessed the super chats and brought memberships, I thank you for coming through. And just a little something to think about while we wait on that next episode. That's all for the live stream this afternoon. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. And before I hit that button, real quick, 8 o'clock, Tony Teflon TV, 8 o'clock, he's going live. Go check it out. If I'm able to go, if I'm not working, I'm definitely going to be in the building. Go check out my man Teflon TV at 8 o'clock. Also, remember the hashtag Framilia. Peace.
Thanks, Real.